our number 2 is going to be Sonic number 3. I actually didn't watch the first 2 Sonics. I wanted to jump in it from like a new angle just to see if it was really that good to be a December movie. And this movie is a conundrum because it is both not a movie and at the same time a great movie. It is fascinating to actually, for those who are not a fan of this, for those who don't know much about Sonic, well, it's the 3rd movie. There's not that much catching up involved. All the former characters are all friends, almost Dragon Ball Z style. So basically, you know that the main character, Robotnik, is apparently dead. So Sonic and his new family with Knuckles and Tails, they're all together. It's a picture-perfect situation. They have a birthday, everything's okay. And then suddenly a guy named Shadow, who's like the Dark Sonic, appears, and he starts to wreak havoc. And it turns out it's tied to a bigger connection with another Robotnik. Turns out original Robotnik is alive. Robotnik's granddad is alive as well. And chaos ensues. There's something Scorsese said about comic books. Comic books are not cinema. They're like a theater ride. They're like not a theater ride. What's the word? A theme park ride. There we go. Right. Theme park ride. I think, at least in the first half of this movie, this is what Scorsese must have been talking about. Because it is indulgent in itself. It is chaotic. It takes breaks to like make jokes. Almost like not necessarily Family Guy with the flashbacks, but something similar to that, where like the pacing is like stop, start, because they're taking their time to kind of be funny, especially in the first quarter, the first act. So the pacing is a bit off in this movie. Having said that, we always talk about the sum of its own parts. This one, the sum of its own parts, is a bad movie. This movie doesn't have themes; it has points. But unbelievably, that works. I had a blast with this movie. I had so much fun. We were like in our previous thing about the trailers, we were rolling our eyes. In the first quarter, a lot of those jokes are there. You're rolling your eyes, but it kind of flows nicely. The movie is stunningly shot. That's what I mean by it's indulgent. It's like this man was given Zack Snyder money and just flowed with it. In terms of plot, again, wafer thin. It's even worse than it's better than the Jamie Foxx movie, the one we talked about last week.
Back in Action.
Exactly, way better pacing, way better story, and also, again, I said there's no real theme so much as points because it wasn't really following the theme consistently. That's one of the key things about theme is that you stay consistent. This one, not that consistent. It almost has like this whole thing about revenge, and then it like taps off, and then it comes back to revenge, quite nicely actually. Climaxes were fantastic. The key points are fantastic. I'm not going to go into any detail because I don't want to spoil it to you guys. Because even though there are things in this movie that would make it a bad movie, it's actually great. I think you'll have a great time with it. I think you'll laugh, especially in the later ones. And Jim Carrey, it's so funny because like you're watching cartoons, and the biggest cartoon there is Jim Carrey, and he just plays it so perfectly. He can successfully play 2 people. You feel that the energy of 2 people.
Okay, I wanted to ask you that, whether it's playing 2 people or 3 people. Because you're saying
2 people.
It's playing 2, not 3.
Yeah, Robotnik and Grandfather Robotnik. Yes, those are the 2 characters he's playing. Another credit I want to give it is, again, with Back in Action, almost no one dies, even though they're like assassins and stuff like that, and it's very weird. I'm gonna say this movie has more balls than that movie, if you can believe it. Like, characters essentially do die. There are things that happen where you're like, oh my god, oh okay. That is quite fascinating, actually. I didn't think they'd have the balls to do that, but they do, and they follow through. And if you're looking for depth, you'll catch about 5 minutes of it. But if you're looking for fun and at the same time without wasting your child's time, it's actually a great movie for kids. And some few adults will have a few good laughs at it. Highly recommended. Definitely going to play on Mnet. Eventually it'll play on SABC after like 5 years. 8 o'clock time slot. It'll take a while because this movie is really good. Right. But legitimately, full recommendation. I'm going to give this one I'm also going to give it a 7 out of 10. It should be a 4. No movie has an excuse, but it went hard. It was like its rent was due. And
what's a bit confusing with the Sonic movie for me is, I think there was 2 or 3 trailers. The first trailer that I saw, Sonic needs help from Robotnik.
Mhm.
The second trailer that I'm watching, Robotnik and Robotnik's granddad seem like they're villains. So I'm like, wait, what's going on? That's why I'm asking you whether
That
this
whole
boy.
angle lasts 5 minutes. So yes, that whole thing happens where it's like, oh my god, we need help. Oh my god, Robotnik's alive. Oh my god, we need Robotnik's help. Oh my god, Robotnik and the other guy are related. Oh my god, they're the bad guys. And then a cool action scene happens, and now we're at something. Now it's a different movie. Now
Oh,
it's we, the Super Friends, are going up against Robotniks, against
oh,
Robotniks.
okay.
So that whole thing that they see in the trailer, if you put all the trailers together, that's about the length of that plot.
Jeez.
So again, don't be out there for an M. Night Shyamalan movie. No. Don't be out
It's
there for
clear.
plot.
No, it's clear. It's
Yeah.
straightforward.
Exactly. They were late for a meeting, so all that stuff that would normally be key in another movie, they were like, and then the fun stuff, they were like, they hang with it. And then once all that nonsense is resolved, it becomes a story you've seen before. But still, I can't be able to say this, but well acted.
Yeah, I wanted to actually ask you about that. What do you think about Ben Schwartz, Idris Elba, and Keanu Reeves' performance?
Keanu Reeves doesn't have that much range. But at the same time, he does the job. He plays this angsty, angry person perfectly fine, in my opinion. At first, I was getting bored of Idris Elba, but you know what? He doesn't actually talk that much, and his character is very simplistic. Like he probably says more lines in a TV commercial than he does in that movie. But at the same time, it works.
Which TV commercial?
I don't even know, dude. I don't even know. But this man.
But I mean, he did play Shere Khan in the Jungle Book, so
yeah, probably does more there. In this one, he's a man of few words. His character is very one-dimensional, and it's funny and it's nice and it works for kids.
because it seems like he plays the muscle,
Yes.
the angry trope muscle guy.
Yeah, and what's so nice is they don't wolf him. So they're like, oh, because what they do is, the wolf effect, we've discussed it before, where you're like, okay, the muscle gets beaten up every single time. Now, okay, he does, in order to establish the strength of Shadow, he does lose that fight. But then they do make him useful throughout the storyline. So it's not just, only thing I do is get beaten up. No, he is actually. They do
He's
make.
he's not Genos in One Punch Man.
Exactly, he's not Genos. He does have his own cool moments, his own like up and downs. But again, he's a straightforward character, and the story uses him in such a way that it works. Loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.